King of the Road Productions proudly presents a special Urban Cowboy edition of the Jim King of the TV show, Southeast Texas Style. We're celebrating the 45th anniversary of the legendary film Urban Cowboy. Join us as we feature country greats Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee, along with Dew Westbrook, the real-life inspiration behind the iconic Bud character. Did you get invited to the premiere of the movie? Did they invite you? You and Betty?
No, they didn't. I was scheduled to do all of that, but it seems like the senior vice president at the Paramount Pictures kind of got his feelings hurt when I told him what I thought.
Special thanks to Tanner West and Texas Construction Resources for their support. We're also taking you back in time with the classic Honky Tonk Texas fabulous flashback and showcasing the official Urban Cowboy music video with Johnny Lee as our Jackson Hill Park and Marina music clip of the week straight from Nashville. And don't miss Mickey Gilley in the Royal Spotlight. This is a true must-see watch. Saddle up. This ride through country music history is one you won't want to miss. Howdy, friends. Welcome to the Jim King of the TV show, your #1 source for Southeast Texas entertainment. I'm Jim King of the Road, and you're tuned into the best little TV show in Texas. And coming up, don't miss the Gilleys and Urban Cowboy reunion at Buck Wild in Webster, Texas, just outside of Houston, on Sunday, June 22nd. Doors open at 4 p.m. with festivities kicking off soon after. This special event celebrates the 45th anniversary of the Urban Cowboy movie and the iconic Gilley's nightclub, featuring appearances by many of the original cast members, plus live music and a chance to meet Betty and Dew, the real-life couple who inspired Bud and Sissy's story in the film. King of the Road Productions will be on hand to cover the excitement. We'd love to see you there. For tickets, call Robert at 713-826-9487. And speaking of Urban Cowboy, Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee both were prominently featured in the film and are also spotlighted on King's Country Internet Radio, streaming 24/7 from Beaumont, Texas. We bring you the very best in real country, classic hits, and today's stars. No fluff, just the good stuff. In less than 100 years, radio has come a long, long way. We've gone from this to this. Alexa, play King's Country on TuneIn.
King's Country from TuneIn.
And this. Now you can stream us everywhere. You can listen anywhere on your computer, smart speaker, mobile device, or in your car via Bluetooth. Stream us worldwide on TuneIn, iTunes, Live 365, or directly at kingscountry.net. Don't forget to catch the Jim King of the Radio show, airing middays on King's Country. Now saddle up and ride with us to Coots, Texas, as we revisit the legacy of the late, great Mickey Gilley and his Urban Cowboy partner in crime, Johnny Lee. We always roll Cadillac style, as seen and heard on Southeast Texas TV, internet radio, and social media. We're everywhere.
Extra large and turbocharged. It's the King of the Road show.
Oh, hi, to the game.
One man has the power to take you behind the scenes. Jim King of the Road.
Jim King of the Road.
1974, I broke the ice after 17 years. Some of you ladies made this my first #1 recording in the country music charts. If you remember this one. If I sent a rose to you, by the time you made me blue, you'd have a room full of roses. If I sent a rose of white for every time that I cried all night, you'd have a room full of roses. And if I took the petals and would tear them all apart, I'd be tearing up the roses just the way you broke my heart. But if someday you're feeling blue and you can send a rose, maybe two, don't send me a rose full of roses. You know why? All I want is my arms around you. The orchid is a flower that blooms room so tenderly to thrill the fairest lady of the land. 1974, I recorded Room Full of Roses for the B-side of a song called She Called Me Baby All Night Long. And the radio station flipped it, started playing the Flower Song. The next thing I knew, I had a #1 song in the nation.
You got a couple of really famous cousins, too. Jimmy Swaggart and Jerry Lee Lewis. You keep in touch with those guys?
Don't hold that against me. You probably know, too, that I have 2 famous cousins I grew up with, right? Jerry Lee Lewis in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and, of course, Reverend Jimmy Swaggart. Don't hold that against me. But in 1957, when I made my first recording in the music industry, I had tried to follow my cousin Jerry Lee Lewis into the music scene. He had a whole lot of shaking at the time. He came into Houston. He was traveling with Johnny Cash and Sonny James. I get to run around with him. I was working for $1.25 an hour. So I tried to follow my cousin Jerry Lee into the music industry. I made a big mistake. I should have followed Reverend Swaggart. He made more money than me and Jerry Lee Lewis put together. Tax-free.
A few years before his passing, I caught up with Mickey Gilley backstage at Honky Tonk, Texas in Silsbee, where he shared stories about hitting the road again with Johnny Lee for a series of concerts.
Him and I together are working the road again, which is a great thrill for me because we had our ins and outs. You know, we'd like 2 brothers fighting back in the early years, but we've teamed up together again, and we're doing the Urban Cowboy tour.
Right.
And having great response.
Yeah, we've been doing some shows together and selling out some rooms, and it's been a lot of fun. A couple of weeks ago, I played in Russellville, Arkansas. I was in Hinton, Oklahoma with him at a casino, sold that out, and it's still fun to see my old buddy Gilley, and we make a lot of memories together. We were talking about a few of them earlier, and I still love him to death, man. We're like brothers.
You talk often?
Oh, yeah. Every time I go to use the bathroom, I sit down on the toilet and tell him it makes me think of him, so I call it.
Well, they'll never stay home. They're always alone, even with someone they love.
Tell me one more time. I didn't understand that.
I said, Mickey, they'll never stay home, and they're always alone, even with someone they love.
Johnny Lee!
Mickey Gilley and the Urban Cowboy Band.
This segment is sponsored by Tanner West and Texas Construction Resources.
Working hard from the sun up to the sundown. They can build it tall, they can tear it on down. They got the know-how, but you got the money.
At Texas Construction Resources, our main line of work, residential house pads and ponds, crushed concrete laydown yards, demolition work, land clearing, and anything that we can push as far as dirt, site prep, that's going to be our main focus.
Hands of a working man built this town. Clear this timber and plow this ground.
Coming up, the official Urban Cowboy music video featuring Johnny Lee, our Jackson Hill Park and Marina music clip of the week straight from Nashville. Then we're turning back the clock with the nostalgic Honky Tonk, Texas fabulous flashback. Also ahead, a Powerhouse Royal Spotlight on the legendary Mickey Gilley. But next, more exclusive moments with Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee you won't see anywhere else.
You're cruising in the King's Caddy.
King of the road.
Escape to Jackson Hill Park and Marina at Lake Sam Rayburn. Your lakeside paradise awaits. Enjoy premier boating, fishing, and picturesque views. Then unwind in our cozy cabins and savor delicious dishes at our on-site restaurant with full bar. Plus, join us for periodic special concert events where live music brings our community together under the stars. Create unforgettable memories at Jackson Hill Park and Marina. Visit us today and let your adventure begin. Since Tina Bean started 5-Star Feeds in Port Arthur over 24 years ago, it's always been a friendly neighborhood store, kind of like the general store of the good old days.
I think so. I try to be like it used to be. when I was young, going to feed stores and everything. It's, you know, when people come in here, I want them to feel like they're walking into my house, where they feel welcome. So we try to keep it like that.
5-star feeds in Port Arthur, Texas. It was all about the film classic Urban Cowboy at the recent Hardin County Music Fest in Coons, Texas. Hundreds of country fans packed the Coons Trade Days grounds for the festivities. The Coons Chamber of Commerce went all out for the nostalgic extravaganza, right down to a genuine mechanical bull, which I couldn't resist. Anyway, back to the Hardin County Music Fest. Of course, the concert was headlined by the legendary Mickey Gilley.
All the girls all get prettier in closing time. When the change starts taking place, put the globe on every face of the fallen angels of the Backstreet Boys.
And Mickey's old buddy, Johnny Lee, also performed at the Hardin County Music Fest.
Went partying the other night. Started drinking, I got a little tight. We was playing with all of my friends. Felt so good we had to do it again. Hey, bartender. Hey, bartender. Hey, bartender. Hey, bartender. Draw 1, 2, 3 more glasses of beer. She was sitting way down at the end. I said, baby, can we be friends? You look as sweet as can be. Come on down here and dance with me. I said, hey, bartender. Hey, bartender. Hey, bartender. Hey, bartender. Draw 1, 2, 3 more glasses of beer.
On the bus with Johnny Lee. Great to see you.
Good to see you again, buddy.
You still down by Texas City?
No, I bought a place in Sulphur Springs, East Texas. I was living in Branson for a long time, and I've been wanting to move back to Texas, and moved back to Texas a little over a year ago.
Doing a show here with your old friend, Mickey Gilley. You guys had a long run together there at Gilley's in Pasadena, about 10 years, 68 to 78, something like that.
Mickey who?
I think he's here.
We started working together in the 60s at a club called the Nesta Dell on Spencer Highway in Pasadena, Texas. And we've been friends for many, many years.
Was he your house band pretty much during that decade?
Well, we were all the house band. I was too. I played piano and organ and sang, and and Johnny Lee came on and did his bit. And we just had a great run for about 10 years, this one club. And then when we opened Gilley's in 1971, I acquired a local TV show, and things really began to turn around for us then.
King of the Road.
Here comes this week's Honky Tonk, Texas Fabulous Flashback. No, you've already been there, you've done that, you've got all the accolades. I think you're also a Country Music Hall of Famer, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. I'm very proud of that. You know what? I was in the Hall of Fame, and I've got this real nice display case there. And this woman was standing there with her daughter. I don't know, she was about that tall. She had her arm up on her, and so the daughter says, "Who are all these people, Mom?" She said, "Well, they're all country music stars, and most of them are dead now." And I was standing behind them. I happened to overhear the conversation. I said, "I'm not dead." And that little girl turned around and seen me and looked at my picture, and she freaked her out, and she ran out the door. But I ended up talking to her and, signing something for her. It was just kind of weird, But the Hall of Fame in Carthage, Texas, the Texas Country Music Hall of Fame is really a special place. If you ever get a chance to go visit, it's a neat place.
King of the Road.
That was this week's Honky Tonk, Texas Fabulous Flashback.
The Texas honky tonk. There's no place like home.
Since 2008, Honky Tonk, Texas and Silsbee, Texas has featured a steady stream of the very best in local, regional, and national touring bands. Pack up your posse and boot scoot over to Honky Tonk, Texas for great concerts, dancing, drinking, and dining. Of course, steak night is every Thursday, and don't forget about the Honky Tonk Grill. Visit them online at facebook.com/honkytonktx and at honkytonktexas.us. Honky Tonk, Texas and Silsbee has been entertaining Southeast Texas since 2008. Where have you been?
Hoping to find a friend and a lover day I discover another heart, looking for love, king of the road.
Howdy, folks. Jim King of the TV and radio here with a special treat today. You know, it's been, I guess, 45 years since Urban Cowboy came out, the film. And they're going to have a little celebration in Houston. You're going to find out in just a little bit. It's June 22nd. I've got Leon Beck here to talk to you about that. And we've got John Travolta. No, it's not John Travolta. It's the guy who that story was based on in real life, a.k.a. Bud and Sissy. We're going to talk to him in just a moment. And we're also going to play Urban Cowboy, the soundtrack, the video. That's coming up in just a moment. That is on the right, Do. And on the left, we've got Mr. Leon Beck. Leon, tell us about your event coming up June 22nd.
Well, I'm real excited. Thank you so much, Jim, for doing this interview, and thank you, Dude, for being part of this. June the 22nd, we're celebrating the 45th anniversary of the Urban Cowboy movie that came out in 1980. Can you imagine 45 years later, we're still celebrating a movie that came out 45 years ago, and we're holding the celebration at a club called Buck Wild. That's in Webster, Texas. That's right outside of Houston in the Clear Lake area. It's on Sunday, June the 22nd, and doors open at 4 and everything kicks off at 5. We're going to have a lot of Urban Cowboy flavored, I guess the theme, plus the Gilley's theme, because we're having a lot of the Gilley's people there that worked, played, sang at Gilley's, and the people that were in the movie, the local people. Other people who will be there will be Gator Conley. He won the dance contest in Urban Cowboy, and Jessie Mapes, she played Betty's best friend in the movie, and Betty is played by Deborah Winger, and they call her Sissy. They call you Bud. And then Norman Tucker will be there. He won the punching bag contest, came in third on the mechanical bull riding contest, and we'll even have Judy Compton there. She came in runner-up on the Dolly Parton lookalike contest. We'll have Gilley's merchandise. We'll have about 20 plus singers singing the music of the Urban Cowboy era. And in my opinion, Urban Cowboy movie made a bigger impact in America than any other movie that I could think of.
All right, Leon Beck, you should check out his magazine too, Texas Hot Country Magazine. I'm proud to write a little column about once a quarter for that. We also have Do Westbrook here. Do, you actually are the guy that John Travolta played in the movie Urban Cowboy. It's based on your life, you and a young lady named Betty that you met way back in 1975.
Right.
So the story is pretty accurate in the Urban Cowboy movie?
It's pretty accurate. How things happen in it sometimes was a little bit different on when it actually happened, but most of the stuff in that whole movie was pretty much spot on, about 85% of it.
And you met John Travolta?
Yeah, I met him on his birthday.
I have a little story about John Travolta and Urban Cowboy. In 1980, I was attending the University of Texas at Austin. I went there from 77 to 81. I was walking across campus, and I was a huge John Travolta fan, you know, growing up in teenage years watching Welcome Back, Kotter, and then his success with that movie, Saturday Night Fever. I was walking across campus one day to my class, and walking right toward me with a basketball in his hand was John Travolta. This was in 1980. He had a group of guys with him. That was the first time I really became starstruck. I mean, because he was walking right at me, and our eyes were locked. And I wanted to say something, but I didn't. I said, that's got to be John Travolta. Then I read that they were making the movie over in Houston. So he came over to Austin that day and played some basketball. That was kind of...
He's a pretty nice, likable guy. He gets along with everybody.
Did you get invited to the premiere of the movie? Did they invite you? You and Betty?
No, they didn't. I was I was scheduled to do all of that, but it seems like the senior vice president at the Paramount Pictures kind of got his feelings hurt when I told him what I thought. And so he didn't let me go to the premiere in New York. He didn't let me go to the premiere in California. And he didn't let me go to the premiere in Houston. And then he even tried to keep me out of Gilley's that night, which that was a big no-no.
What did you say to cause that?
At the time when John Travolta was sitting in my living room on his birthday, we had several people in there in that room, in my living room there. And the man asked me what I thought about John Travolta playing my part. And I asked him, I says, "Are you sure you want the answer to this question?" And then I think Leon jumped in there and asked me a different question to change the temperature in the room right quick. And a few minutes later, that man asked me that question again. And I told him, I says, "Now, this is the second time. Are you sure you want the answer to this question?" And about that time, John Travolta jumped in there and asked the question. And he said, "Wait a minute. I asked you a question." And I turned to that man. I says, "Now I want you to listen, and listen really easy. Listen real good. This is not hard to understand. I don't think John Travolta can play the part, but if he can, that shows what kind of good actor he is. But according to all the newspapers and everything else, they left out that second part." Now that made that man mad enough that he got up off my couch and walked out the door.
Wow.
Well, I guess a multi-billionaire's never had anybody stand straight up to his face and tell him what they thought.
Right.
I'm not no butt kisser for nobody.
Well, that's Texas style right there.
John thought that was great. He said he loved that challenge, and he made it a challenge, and he did a good job, and I commend him for it. At that time in my life and everything else that was going on, I didn't think that was the right move, but they proved me wrong.
You're a man that speaks his mind. So don't ask you if you don't want to know the truth.
I'll give you 3 options. I'll give you 3 chances at that question.
Here comes Johnny Lee and Looking for Love as our Jackson Hill Park and Marina music clip of the week straight from Nashville.
I spent a lifetime looking for you. Single bars and good time lovers were never true. Playing a fool's game, hoping to win, and telling those sweet lies and losing again. I was looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of, hoping to find a friend and a lover. I'll bless the day I discover another heart, looking for love. And I was alone then, no love in sight. I did everything I could to get me through the night. I don't know where it started or where it might end. I turned to a stranger just like a friend. 'Cause I was looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of, hoping to find a friend and a lover. I'll bless the day I discover another heart, my heart's door. Get everything I've been looking for. There's no more looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for love in too many faces. Searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of. Now that I found a friend and a lover, God bless the day I discovered you. Oh, you looking for love in all the wrong places. In too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of. Now that I found a friend and a lover, God bless the day I discovered you. Oh, you looking for love in all the wrong places. In too many faces, searching their eyes, looking for traces of what I'm dreaming of. Now that I found a friend
Escape to Jackson Hill Park and Marina at Lake Sam Rayburn. Your lakeside paradise awaits. Enjoy premier boating, fishing, and picturesque views. Then unwind in our cozy cabins and savor delicious dishes at our on-site restaurant with full bar. Plus, join us for periodic special concert events where live music brings our community together under the stars. Create unforgettable memories at Jackson Hill Park and Marina. Visit us today and let your adventure begin. Up next, Mickey Gilley takes center stage in the Royal Spotlight.
King of the road. Working hard from the sun up to the sundown. They can build it tall, they can tear it on down. They got the know-how, if you got the money.
At Texas Construction Resources, our main line of work, residential house pads and ponds, crushed concrete laydown yards, demolition work, land clearing, and anything that we can push as far as dirt, site prep, that's going to be our main focus.
Hands of a working man built this town. Cleared this timber and plowed this ground. Darling, stand by me. Won't you stand by me? If you're in need, won't you stand?